Often see scenes of Jesus with little children, kind of like we see in our gospel today. It's scenes of like they're very cute and very peaceful and very nice, and Jesus is so good with the kids, and he invites the children to come to him, and it's really this nice, kind of cute, peaceful scene that we often think of when we see Jesus with little children. In actuality, though, I think living like that, living like a child like Jesus invites us to, is actually anything but easy and cute and peaceful. Because kids, if you have kids, you know, kids are number one, they're pretty helpless. They can't really do much of anything on their own, depending on how old they are. They're dependent on somebody else for pretty much everything, especially as a newborn, mom or dad, godmother, godfather, grandparent, aunts or uncles or siblings. They can't do anything on their own. They need almost constant supervision because kids have a way of getting themselves into trouble, into precarious or suspicious situations. So you always got to watch them. You got to make sure that they're safe and that they're in where they're supposed to be. Now, all these things about kids are things that when I feel, there's things that I don't like, don't want, really despise. I don't like being dependent on somebody else. I like to be able to take care of myself. I don't like feeling helpless. I like to feel strong and in control and powerful. I don't like to like have to follow what somebody else says. I want to do what I want to do, right? I don't like being childlike. Yet Jesus continually invites us to be like a child, to imitate the children, and to receive him as a child. And when he does inevitably invite us to become like a child, we have a choice. We can either listen or we cannot. We can either grasp for control or let go of control. We can either continue to maintain my own dominance, or I can surrender and let the Lord act in the primary place. Most times I would rather do the former. I would rather be in control. I would rather feel secure about what's going to happen. I would rather feel like I got to meet the expectations and make sure I have all my life together and everything under control, and I know where the direction is, and I know where everything's headed. Yet as I'm feeling like I'm in that constant battle for control, that constant battle for security, what I don't ever have is peace. I'm never able to actually rest because I'm always on edge. I'm always anxious. I'm always feeling like I have to protect myself from this onslaught of things that are going to try to wrest control from my grip. And so no matter how hard I try, I'm never at peace. And I can't make myself be at peace. It never works, no matter what. Deep, lasting peace is never something that we're going to be able to create for ourselves. I cannot make myself be at peace, a deep, lasting peace, no matter how hard I try. I might be able to distract myself. I might be able to glory temporarily in some satisfaction or victory, but it's never going to last. It's always going to pass. And that unrest is going to eventually come to the surface. Deep, lasting peace is not something that I can do for myself, no matter how hard I try. Peace is something that has to be received from somebody else. That security, I can't make it for myself. I have to receive it from another. In order to receive it from another, that means my hands have to be open. I can't be grasping for control. I'm not able to receive anything here. But with open hands, I'm actually able to receive, which means I have to let go of control. I have to surrender. I have to let God be God, as opposed to me trying to be God of my own life. By surrendering, by letting go of control, by letting God be God, and eventually learn to be okay with being a child. Because that's all I always have been, that's all I always will be, is a child, beloved son or a beloved daughter of God. And we can be okay with that only because we have the best father in the world. Without the father taking care of me, it would be utterly terrifying to be a child. Because who would take care of me? Who's going to make sure all these things happen? Who's going to make sure that I'm okay? The answer to that question is the Lord, is God, is our Father, who will always be there to take care of his children, who will always be there to provide for our every need, way better than we ever could. And when we do that, as we learn to be okay with being a simple little child, well, then the words of the first reading ring true. In the first reading, these not so good people are they're questioning. Like, this guy says that God's going to defend him. This guy says that God is going to deliver him. He says that God is going to take care of him. Is it true? Well, when I give God the opportunity to do that, I find out with a resounding yes, it is true. I actually experience that God will defend me from all the attacks of the enemy. God will deliver me from every trial. God will take care of me in every way that I need to if I'm okay with accepting that, like, I'm a child, He's the Father, and He's the one who takes care of me, and I don't have to take care of myself. When I surrender, when I let go, God is able to bring that truth to reality in my life. He will. He always will. The invitation today perhaps is to pray for that grace of surrender, to be like a little child, helpless, dependent, utterly out of control, so that we can see just how good our Father truly is.